I hope some epic music is playing right now. Guys, welcome back. Oh my God, it's so dark. Welcome back to officially, I'm actually gonna be calling this season 3 of the YAP sessions. Obviously I had the original YAP sessions and then we changed them up a bit and we had the whole last season in the summer. And if you haven't noticed, I've taken a little bit of time off this last couple weeks, last 2-3 weeks from the YAP sessions. It might have even been a whole month. And now it's fall, now it's literally fall. I don't know how much you could see, but like the leaves are starting to turn a little more orangish. We got a big sweater on right now too, because it's pretty cold right now. It's 4 degrees. Again, I always end up saying this. I'm like, it's cold or it's hot. And people are like, well, in my area, it's like, okay, it's cold for what it was in the summer. It's 4 degrees right now, 4 Celsius for anyone wondering. And yeah, we are back. We're back with the YAP sessions. Today on the topic, we are talking about Gigantamax because that was just recently announced coming to Pokemon Go. It kind of like, I'm not gonna lie, Gigantamax is coming a lot quicker than I thought it would. If you didn't watch my video, there was a video I made a while back where we talked about Dynamax and my thoughts on it. Do I think it's good? In it, I talked about how Niantic is probably slowly releasing Dynamax so they can slowly fix all the bugs and then they can slowly drop Dynamax or Gigantamax. But like dropping Gigantamax already after Dynamax, when did Dynamax come out? Was it August? No, it was like after. Was it September? Was it last month? It was September, right? Wait, hold up. Okay, wait, it's October 14th. Dynamax came out on the start of the new season. So it's been a month and a half and they're already deciding or announcing that they're gonna be dropping Gigantamax. So honestly, props to Niantic. We gotta give props when there's props. If we're gonna trash talk them, we gotta give them hype. And yeah, like props for bringing it out so fast, especially because I think that's what a lot of people were more interested in. Dynamax is cool, but it's not as fun as Gigantamax because Gigantamax is where we get the exclusive forms and there's actually, I guess, like exclusive stuff going on. I just noticed how much longer one of my strings are and that's gonna bother me all video, but it's fine. Anyway, today we're talking about that, Gigantamax, my thoughts on it. We're also gonna talk about Dynamax, how I think it's developed since its release because I did have some gripes and some concerns about it. So we're talking about all that and pretty much my thoughts on that. Before we talk about that though, I do want to talk about where I've been, what I've been up to. If you don't care about that, I'll put a timestamp right here. You can skip to the actual juice. Juice is an interesting word, but like juice of the video, if you care about what it's in the title. But we are back with the YAP sessions. I'm going to be doing a fall version of these. At least like fall is almost over, to be honest. Like fall in Ottawa lasts, I believe it's like all September, October, and then November, everything's gone. But leaves are starting to fall. We're gonna do one going up until it gets probably too cold to be outside, and that's gonna be season 3 of the YAP sessions. And then I don't really know what I'm gonna do with the winter because it gets really cold in the winter. And like sitting outside and yapping for hours, like I'm just like sitting there freezing. So I don't know what we're gonna do with that yet. We're gonna have to figure that out. But yeah, definitely gonna go ahead and do another season of these because you guys seem to have loved them. And yeah, sorry it's been a little bit of time. Now, anyone's wondering where speak Dax, where I have been. I took I guess you could say a vacation, my first vacation in a long time. The last vacation I can remember I took was a week in Cancun, Mexico, back in February 2 years ago. And that was like a real vacation where I didn't touch my phone or really play Pokemon Go. And I just recently took a vacation to New Zealand. I was in New Zealand, shout out to all my Kiwis. Now I was there for personal, like people kept asking me like when I was saying like, oh, I'm going to New Zealand, people were like, are you gonna make videos? Are you gonna do meetups, blah, blah, blah. Like something as a YouTuber, it's very important to be able to separate your business, or honestly, not just a YouTuber, a business owner is like separate when you're doing business versus when you're personal time. Cause then if not, you're just literally always working like 24/7. Even when I like wake up first thing in the morning, I'm checking comments, that technically counts as working. So I wanted to really take the time to separate that, and I pretty much just took 2 weeks off. We did stream twice in there, so I did sneak in a little bit of work. We streamed for the Galarian Bird event, and we streamed for Mega Mawile Raid Day, which the Galarian Bird event was actually really cool to be the first person in the world to be able to play that. So if you want to watch that, we actually did get early access since New Zealand is the third time zone in the world. Ish, I think, pretty much around that. But yeah, pretty much didn't do that much. We traveled around all New Zealand. Obviously, I did all the New Zealand classics. We visited Hobbiton, Whakaraki Beach or something like that, I think is how it's called. That's the one with like there's like a screensaver, a window screensaver. It's like a beach with a picture. Visited Rotorua, like hot springs, checked out like some cool beaches, checked out some cool mountains, did some cool hikes, all of that fun stuff. So I had a huge blast there. I did rafting while I was there, bungee jumping, which was absolutely insane. I'll see if I can put the video of me bungee jumping on the side. I actually hurt my head, I'm not gonna lie. Bungee jumping like really kind of cooks the head. But anyway, Had a huge fun time. That was the last 2 weeks. So that's why I haven't really been as active. If you've noticed, I haven't really been commenting on things and stuff like that. But we're back now. We're back for the fall. We're back to get hype, especially with these new events coming up. I actually was telling people this. I have been so disconnected from Pokemon Go recently, and it's actually been kind of nice to take a little bit of a break, but I've been so disconnected. I don't even know what the wild area event is. I still haven't had the time to read that blog post, and if you haven't noticed, I haven't made a video on it. So I have to look into that, try to get that all sorted so I can get you guys tips for that event, because that event does, like from my rough looks, that event does seem pretty cool. Seems like they're kind of inserting another Go Fest style event into Pokemon Go. So that should be pretty fun. But yeah, overall, I'm excited to be back. It's been a nice 2-week vacation in New Zealand. That's why I'm wearing this wool sweater, by the way. I got this fit check. I guess we could do a fit check real quick. The fit check, we got the wool sweater, which I bought in New Zealand, because if you don't know New Zealand, pretty famous for wool, because there's thousands of sheep. What is it? Like there's more sheep on the land than there are humans, I think, in New Zealand. I'm not 100% sure. Anyway, let's get into the actual meat and potatoes, the juice of this video. I'm going to go find a new spot to sit down. We're going to talk about it because I do have some thoughts on Dynamax. I did play Pokemon Go while I was still there. Not that much, but I still did play. So we did do some Dynamax raids, all that stuff, see how it's been developing. And yeah, I do have some thoughts on it before we get into Gigantamax, which is actually pretty hype. I'm pretty excited actually for Gigantamax. It's been a while, I guess, like in terms of new gameplay mechanics, I guess like Megas was the last thing, right? Because we don't have Z moves, adventure effects actually. It was like Megas, adventure effects, Gigantamax is like the new hype, I guess, battle mechanic in Pokemon Go. I don't know if Dynamax counts. Gigantamax is cooler, so let's just say Dynamax. And I don't even know what I'm saying. Let's go find a spot to sit, and let's talk about this. Ooh. Oh my God, I just did a Brandon Ton. That was crazy when Brandon Ton was in Ottawa. Brandon Ton, where is he at now? This guy's always traveling. Anyway, we're here. I've come here to the tree area to be a bit protected because like being in New Zealand, it was cold, but it's actually colder here in Canada in the fall, which is kind of insane. Like New Zealand was like 10-ish degrees in the South Island. Here it's like 4 right now. So like I'm kind of actually getting cold even with these mittens. It's crazy how you so take advantage of the summer and then you always forget how cold it is in the winter, especially here in Canada. Anyway, I'm yapping. Let's talk about Dynamax. Oh my God. Let's talk about Dynamax in Pokemon Go. So honestly, it's perfect. We actually have a Dynamax raid right here. A Dynamax battle. Sorry, you can't call them raids because they're not raids. Overall, my thoughts on Dynamax. Positive or negative? In my opinion, I'm going to go ahead and say, I guess, neutral. Can you say that? Neutral. Let me explain. Okay, so Dynamax has always been out in Pokemon Go for a month and a half. My first thoughts on Dynamax, again, was it was just a bit too basic. When they got released, we had, what, Squavit, Ulu, Charmander, Charmander. What are the other ones? Bulbasaur, Squirtle. Wow, my brain is really fogging. Which was fun. They were good. They were good in Pokemon Go. But, like, let's be honest. After you did a couple Dynamax battles, you were like, bro, like, what is this? I don't really care. And especially it's because there was nothing you're working towards. And I think that's the big thing in Pokemon Go. There's a bit of motivation you're working towards, especially if you're going to do mundane, boring raids. Like, for example, like, why would anyone do a Gumi raid? It's a mundane 1-star that's super easy to take down. It's because it's such a rare Pokemon that you can then go ahead and save and trade for something that you want. It's like you're working towards something. And when Dynamax first came out, here I am saying how good Dynamax is. Oh, never mind. It's just that my glove doesn't work. I was like, it's not even working. There was nothing you're working towards, especially when it first came out. But now with the release of Gigantamax, there's something you're working towards for Dynamax. And there's a reason for me to be doing this Sobble raid right now. Why? Because I can catch this Sobble, then I can go ahead and power it up, evolve it, and then use it against Gigantamax. What is Sobble good against? Charizard. You know, so there's like an actual use now for the Dynamax Pokemon. So that is obviously a big pro, and I think that's what is giving, because like before I said Dynamax, I forget what I said, but I think I said it was thumbs down or thumbs neutral, and it wasn't thumbs up, and that's because it was just like, bro, like, why are we doing this? Like, I understand it was just added to Pokemon Go, but like, why am I doing this Bulbasaur raid? Like, I'm getting ready for something that I don't know what's gonna come, because it wasn't announced. Now it's announced, it's a little more hype. I do still have some gripes with it, though. Before we get into the gripes, though, let's talk about the good positives. Other than that, they have been doing a good job of dropping new Dynamax Pokemon pretty-ish consistently, and especially dropping harder Dynamax Pokemon so we can see, or like there can be more value out of your Dynamax Pokemon. Because when Bulbasaur, Charmander, Squirtle, and all of them had just come out, there wasn't really a point in doing the raids because it was like, you don't really need strong Dynamax Pokemon to take down those 1-stars. But now we got Phalanx, which Phalanx is arguably a really, really hard Dynamax Pokemon to take down. Now, I haven't actually done a Phalanx Dynamax raid myself, but I've heard, I think you can solo it. Someone can correct me in the comments, and I know people are going to. Let me know if you can solo Phalanx or not. I'll probably know by the end of the day recording this video because I'm going to search it up when I get home. But I don't know if you can solo or not, but I do know it's a lot harder. It's our first 3-star Dynamax boss, and it can be shiny as well, which is really, really cool. And I believe it has a 1 in 64 shiny odds. I mean, I know. Actually, Phalanx is not a boosted Pokemon. No, it's not a boosted Pokemon. So no, I think it's full odds, actually. Is it? I think it's full odds. I don't know. Either or. It's harder to take down, so you actually get use out of your Dynamax Pokemon, because at the end of the day, there needs to be use out of a new feature like this, or else people are just going to be like, why am I doing these Dynamax battles? I just have I have all these Dynamax Pokemon in my storage, like this Sobble, but there's really no point in me using them. Now, we also have gotten, obviously, new Dynamax bosses, Sobble, which are interesting choices in my opinion. Sobble, what are they called? Sobble, Grookey, Scorbunny. We have had those 3 added, which I think have been a good addition. Now, I do have a little bit of a theory I can throw in here. It's kind of interesting that we got Charmander, Bulbasaur, Squirtle, and then we got their Gigantamax forms, and now we got Sobble, Scorbunny, Grookey. So the question is, will we get their Gigantamax forms as the second Gigantamax forms to come to Pokemon Go? That's kind of like the question. Will that end up being? That's a little bit of a theory, and that's why I think they dropped these Pokemon, because I do think there's just like so many other Pokemon you could have added. Like, first of all, why don't you add the Generation 2 starters instead? Or why don't you just start adding more Generation 1 Pokemon? You know, stuff like that. So, has been kind of interesting on how they've added different stuff. Also, I believe, sorry, give me a second. With the Halloween Part 1 event, we do have Ghastly. Yes, we do have Ghastly coming to Pokemon Go, which again is another thing. We're getting Ghastly Dynamax battles. So does that mean that we're going to get Gigantamax Gengar at some point? Now, honestly, I'll get into the gripes now. The gripes are, number 1, it's kind of weird to do a Dynamax battle for a Pokemon that has a Gigantamax form, because you get a Dynamax form of the Pokemon. For example, Charmander. I have this Dynamax Charmander, which I can Dynamax, which is cool, blah, 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 super fun. But Charmander evolves into Charizard, which has a Gigantamax form. Why would I want a Dynamax Charizard when I could have a Gigantamax Charizard? It's way, way cooler. Now, obviously, Gigantamax Charizard is coming to Pokemon Go, and we're going to talk about that in a bit and how that whole thing will work, or what we know about how that will work. But it's a little bit weird. It's a little bit weird, right? Like, especially when they first came out of Pokemon Go, I was like, it feels kind of weird doing a Dynamax battle, because I know at one point we're going to get Gigantamax Charizard, so why should I be doing this? You know what I mean? And it's the same thing with Ghastly. It's the same thing with all the Generation 8 starters as well in Gigantamax. So that's like my first gripe. My second gripe is just shiny hunting, or getting shinies of Dynamax Pokemon is a little bit like, it's a little hard. It's a little hard. Like, the odds, this is how it works. The odds that the Pokemon can be shiny in the wild are what they take for Dynamax battles. I don't believe that should be exactly true, because doing wild hunting is a lot easier than it is to do a single Dynamax battle and get 1 check. Like, you can check, in the time you can do 1 Charmander Dynamax battle, you can do probably like 5, no, way more than 5. You can do probably 30 Charmander checks if, obviously, you have the spawns. Let's say it's Charmander Calm Day. You can check way more Charmanders in the time that you can do a Dynamax Charmander battle. So I think they should skew the, like, I know Niantic's never done this, and maybe this is being greedy, and I think they should add a little bit more shiny odds to, especially the 1-star Dynamax battles, because they're a lot harder to get. And obviously, like, this is a question of, like, how rare should they be? Should they keep them super rare? But, like, 1 in 500 odds on a Dynamax Charmander battle, like, brother, you know how long it's going to take you to do 500 Dynamax Charizard battles? Like, that's like, first of all, no casual players ever doing that, which I guess is a good thing, because they don't want shinies. But even, like, the hardcore players, like, that's a lot of checks. I know Fleece King didn't get a shiny Dynamax Pokemon until, like, I think a week into the event, and he was doing them all day. So anyway, that's a little gripe. It would be nice if the shiny odds were a little higher. Will that ever happen, though? Probably not. We do have also some Pokemon that are shiny locked, which I guess makes sense if they're Dynamax locked. But I guess it's just a gripe of mine, like, when a Pokemon, like, it's just like, it feels so bad doing a Sobble Dynamax raid, because it can't be shiny, and I already have so many Sobbles, and it's just like another Dynamax Mon. Like, it's just like, like it just feels bad, I guess. It feels bad because it can't be shiny, but I guess that's just a general gripe. Like I could say that gripe with a lot of raid Pokemon as well. Like for example, I don't know, when they put Sobble in 1-star raids, like bruh, who's doing that? Dynamax is a little different because the Pokemon have like a niche use in Dynamax battles, but anyway. Then I had one more gripe, but I kind of forget what it was. What was my last gripe? Oh, yeah, I remember. It was the limit on MP. So if you don't know, there's a 1,000 limit you can have on max particles. You can get over that limit. As you can see right now, I'm at 1,110 out of 1,000. You can get over that limit by claiming your 300 that I just did when you have close to 1,000 but not over 1,000 because it's like a soft limit. But it does kind of suck, like there is a limit on this, especially because like I can come into here and like I can't claim these max particles. Is my thumb even working? Oh, I don't think I can claim these because I've already beat this max raid. Is that a glitch? Because I feel like I should be able to claim them. Oh no, never mind. Max particle storage is full. Okay, so it tells me. I don't really, like the limit I feel like is pretty low, especially because like Gigantamax battles I believe are gonna be 800. So like you can do one Gigantamax battle off of all your max particles, which I guess makes sense. It's like a 5-star raid pass and you can get one raid pass every single day for free. But I do feel like the limit is low, or at least the collection limit is low. It kind of sucks when you have no Dynamax battles near you, but like you want to claim your 300 for walking or something like that, and you can't. It just feels like you're kind of wasting, and I guess it's like a motivation to go out and grind. But I do feel like the limit is low, especially for the free player. It would be nice, just a little bump for those would be nice. But again, that's just like me getting really nitty gritty, and maybe being a little bit greedy. Maybe Poke Greedy is coming out. But I do feel like it would be nice if the limit was a little higher. Let's be honest. Let's all be honest. The limits never are the funnest thing. So anyway, I'd like the limit to be a little harder, but overall I think the Dynamax menu is great. The whole feature so far is great. Again, it does suck. I guess another gripe we could say, it does suck that we cannot use them in raids or in PvP yet or anything like that. But I will still say, I still think it's a decent feature. We have definitely had worse features in Pokemon Go. I actually have to think, there's one feature, what is it? It's not roots. There's another feature they added. What was the worst? There's one feature that I still don't use to this day. Party play, I guess party play. I think party play might be one of the most underutilized features in Pokemon Go. You might use party play, but that's a feature that still to this day I barely use. I use it when I'm with friends, but like even when I'm with friends, I always forget, and the rewards for it are usually not even that good. Other than like, sometimes there's some good rewards during special events, and the damage boost can be nice, but I don't know. It's definitely better than party play. That's what I'll tell you right now. So overall, I do like it. I do enjoy it. I also do enjoy the spread of it. That's a big positive, I'm going to say, of Dynamax, especially being in New Zealand. Even when I was in small rural towns, there was still 3 or 4 Dynamax dens, or the max dens, I could find and go do a Dynamax raid at, or Dynamax battle at. So I will say, and you probably noticed as well, they've done a really good job of spreading it out. So even the rural players do have dens they can do. Like they're pretty well spread out around the world. I've seen Dynamax battles, Dynamax dens in some pretty, especially being in rural New Zealand, I've seen some in some pretty rural towns. So that has been a really nice thing in my opinion. Like, and also like, yeah, it's just a good spread. Like look, it almost feels like there's more Dynamax dens than gyms I'm staring at here right now. So really accessible, really accessible in my opinion. So overall, a lot of positives. I do have some negatives. I'm going to put it in the middle with a medium. I do think Dynamax has a potential to become a positive for me overall. I think especially if they allow us to use these in raids and PvP, I'll instantly do a positive. That's my main gripe right now, is that like it's a fun little side quest to go ahead and work on, but like other than that, there's not much to do. And now getting the Gigantamax forms is going to be pretty cool, but again, there's still going to be not much to do after that. Like you get a Gigantamax Charizard, I guess you could use it against Gigantamax Venusaur, but then like other than that, it's kind of neutral. So overall, those are my thoughts on the Dynamax feature. But we do have Gigantamax coming. So let's talk about that. Let's talk about the blog, everything's going down. I'm gonna go find a new spot. Maybe somewhere warmer. I guess there's no really place warmer. We're outside. I'm gonna stay in these trees here. There's a dog running. It's a cute dog. I saw some cute dogs in New Zealand, by the way. We actually saw a lot of border collies, because apparently border collies are the main dogs that herd the sheep. So a lot of cute border collies out there in New Zealand. Anyway, let's go find a new spot. Let's talk about Gigantamax in Pokemon Go. Whoa! Okay, I found a spot. I found a spot with a little Oh my God, that was a lot lower. A little more foliage, so you can know I'm not lying. It actually is the fall here. Anyway, Dynamax, let's talk about it. Also, actually another note, there's literally a red, I don't know if they probably spray painted it, but like this is a red wood. No, it's definitely spray painted. But they put a chair over a cut down tree. I guess that's kind of smart, so no one trips on it. Smart thing, Arboretum. Good thinking. Okay, let's talk about it. They just dropped the blog post for this. Go bigger with Gigantamax Pokemon in the new Max Battles. You might already know about this. I'm going to read about it for anyone who hasn't seen this. Trainers, Venusaur, Charizard, Blastoise are making their Pokemon Go Gigantamax debuts. Hype. And these Max Battles are unlike anything ever seen. It appears that these Gigantamax Pokemon can only be defeated with enough trainers unite as a team. Reports indicate groups of 10 to 40 trainers are able to defeat and catch these formidable power stop bosses. Wow. By the way, this is actually my first time reading this. I haven't read this at all. So you're getting my live reaction right now. First of all, 40 trainers? That is a lot of people. I thought a 20-person raid lobby is a lot. 40 people raid lobbies is a thing in Pokemon Go now. That is a lot of people. Now it says groups of 10 to 20 or to 40. Does that mean there's a minimum on these bosses? That's going to be a very interesting case. And if that is the case, it's going to be very, very limited, especially because there's not even a chance to do low man raids. Like, my guess is these things are going to be really, really hard, so it might not even be possible to do them without 10 people. But like the question is, will you be able to even like attempt them? Like, if you have less than 10 people in a lobby, will it just like not let you start the battle? You know what I mean? So that's like a very interesting question, something we'll have to get clarification on once they release. When are they going to release, by the way? October 26th, 10 a.m. to October 27th, 8 p.m. So it's a weekend thing. Is this the Halloween weekend? Halloween weekend. I'm not 100% sure if it is, but interesting, super fun. One thing is clear. These are the biggest challenges in Pokemon Go yet. Get the latest findings on Gigantamax Phenomenon. Okay, so we know the time. The debuts we're getting are Venusaur, Charizard, Blastoise, and they can all three be shiny, which is hype. I'm very curious, are we going to encounter them in their Gigantamax forms, or will they revert to just regular Dynamax forms that can Gigantamax later? That would be pretty interesting. My guess? Oh, by the way, it says 6-star max battle. So these are 6 stars. So these are like mega legendaries in 5-star raids. There's 5-star raids and there's mega legendaries, which are 6-star raids. Same with the primals, I believe, are 6 stars. So, okay, so they're a whole new level above. These are probably going to be really, really hard to take down. Obviously, you have a Pokemon Go Web Store Max Particle Pack. I believe, is this the same? I think this is the same pack that we've always had. But super hype. It looks like these things are coming to Pokemon Go. I do believe there is a video. If I search Pokemon Go, oh yeah, right here, there's a video they dropped. Can't really watch it with volume. Let me watch at double speed. Okay, so is this just like a regular trailer video? Oh, someone got in a car. Did they just promote playing Pokemon Go in a car? Oh my God, who is it? Is that the guy from Whiplash? What's the actor's name from Whiplash? Okay, so this is just like a promotional trailer video. Looks hype. Bro, that is the guy from Whiplash. Oh, is that? Oh, yeah, that's, okay, Kingler? Dynamax Kingler being teased? Oh, that cake looked pretty good. Alcremie? Ooh. Well, Alcremie's not even in Pokemon Go. Oh, we might get that for Valentine's Day, potentially? Look, they're all hyping up. Is there going to be a group of, like, 40 people calling world leaders? Bro, why is everyone so casual about this? Okay, all I'm saying is if we lived in a Pokemon world, people, and they saw a Dynamax... Sorry, that made me laugh. Like, brother, I'm sorry, if that was standing in front of you and you're holding a phone, you're not doing anything against that thing. Okay, sorry, that's just... Let's just be honest, though. If Gigantamax Charizard was a real thing, we'd all be screaming and running for our lives, bro. We're not standing up to that thing. That thing is just sweeping us with Blast Burn. Okay, anyway, Gigantamax Pokemon. Are they going to be hype or not? We did see 5 of them being teased there. We saw... What's it called? Gigantamax, Charizard, Blastoise, Venusaur. We saw Kingler. We saw Alcremie. Was there any other ones I missed? I think, was that Toxtricity? I think that was Toxtricity in one of the clips. I'm not 100% sure because I don't remember. Or are they both? Yeah, Toxtricity. Anyway, that's 5, 6 potential Gigantamax bosses being teased, which is really hype. Most likely we'll get potentially some more in November. I could see Kingler coming out in November. I forget, when does the Water Festival event happen? I'm not sure. But that is pretty exciting that we're getting 6 new Gigantamax Pokemon. Now, it doesn't say anything here about a very important thing that Gigantamax Pokemon get, which are their max moves. So I'm very curious, when we get Gigantamax Pokemon in Pokemon Go, when will will we get their max moves? They get special max moves, depending on what Gigantamax Pokemon it is. I don't really know the names, but they don't get the basic standard max moves. So my guess is we're going to get those, but it literally doesn't say anything about that in this blog post. So it'll be super hyped to get those, and we'll also get the new forms, and it's actually pretty cool that they're going to be available in their shiny forms. Now, what are my thoughts on this? Honestly, like, what is there to say other than double thumbs up? Double thumbs up. Gigantamax Pokemon is something we've wanted in Pokemon Go for a long time. Again, I'm going to say this right now. Again, still no mention of being able to use these in raids or in PvP. Will we ever get to use them in raids and PvP? And I think that's my biggest, I guess, gripe. By the way, I just realized how much I'm yapping right now. It's been a while since I've yapped this much, so it's kind of nice to get it out. But that's my biggest gripe is, like, we don't know if these things will ever be able to be used in raids and PvP. And yes, there's always a chance, so you could always just prepare in preparation for the chance of us being able to use them in raids and PvP. But we're not for certain. We're not 100% for certain that these things will be available in raids and PvP. So is there a point in doing them until they're allowed? You know what I mean? And that's my biggest gripe is, like, I'd like to know. I'd like to know, because then I'd like to know that at least my efforts are going towards something that will get use. Because right now, if I do a Gigantamax Charizard raid, I get a Gigantamax Charizard. It's cool. I could use it against all the other Gigantamax bosses. But at the end of the day, what does it do? It's just a Pokemon I can flex, which is cool. And Pokemon Go does have Pokemon you can flex, and that's, like, part of the game, like shiny Galarian birds. But, like, I don't know. It would be nice that you can get use out of it, because part of Pokemon is the catch aspect, but another part is the battle aspect. And being able to battle in PvP, battle in raids with all this stuff is pretty cool. I guess at the end of the day, it's cool because you can use it to shiny hunt Gigantamax Pokemon in the future. Like, that's the point. That's kind of like how raids are. Like, if I power up a Hundo Rampardos, the reason I'm doing that is to shiny hunt legendary Pokemon, which the only way to get them is through raids. So since the only way to get a Gigantamax Pokemon is through a Gigantamax battle, by doing a Gigantamax battle and catching that Pokemon, you're getting Pokemon that you can future hunt shiny Gigantamax Pokemon. That's at least how I see it, I guess. But thumbs up. I'm excited for Gigantamax. I think it's going to be fun. I will say the 40-person thing does have me a little on edge. It probably has you guys a little on edge as well, because even me being like, this is a strong Pokemon Go community in Auto. We have a big group. Getting 40 trainers out, that's pretty hard to do. So I do hope Niantic, first of all, make these events really, really condensed, and they don't make Gigantamax Pokemon like 5-star raid bosses where you can do them anytime at the week. And I think the reason I say this, it's honestly better for all of us, because if the events are really condensed, the players will go out during this condensed event, and there'll be a lot higher chance you have bigger groups, versus if you say Gigantamax Charizard is available in Pokemon Go from this day to this day, it's going to be a lot harder to rile up 40 trainers. Maybe on the weekend, if you plan it, it's good, but, like, if you do, like, for example, this is like a weekend event, or even if you do a raid day, if you do like a raid or like a Gigantamax like max battle day where it's like 2 to 5 p.m. Gigantamax Charizard in Gigantamax raids, a lot higher chance you're going to get 40 people. So the hopes is that most people can take these down, but right now it looks like they're very, very tough. And 40 trainers, 10 to 40 trainers, I will say, it's hard. It makes me sad because, like, again, I think it's going to be hard. Even for people to just get 10 trainers together, I think it's going to be tough. Especially, like, I hate to say it, if you're in a rural area, like, obviously there might be exceptions in some rural communities. Could be small, but dense. Like, you could still have 15 players in a super small rural town that are willing to play and grind. The odds, though, are low. And if you're a rural player, you're most likely going to have to drive into the city to take advantage of these. Which, again, it's a balance. I always say this, it's a balance. Niantic needs to balance the rural community versus the global community, and all that and stuff. And, like, I guess it does make them more special. It makes them more exclusive. So it's cool. Like, if you are a rural player and you drive into town to do Dynamax raid or Gigantamax raids and then bring home a Gigantamax Charizard, it's super rare for you because you obviously can't do them in your own town. But yeah, that's, like, I guess my only one gripe. But overall, I think it's cool. Gigantamax is a cool feature. And yeah, again, I just hope you get more use out of the Pokemon in the future. And I hope, I hope, like, I can say I hope that they're easy to take down, but I know they're not going to be easy to take down. So I guess I could just say, like, I hope Niantic is thinking about accessibility and rural trainers when it comes to this feature. And I guess, like, little ways that that can allow those players to get in on it. Maybe like remote max particles, where you can do one remote max battle a day. I don't know, maybe something like remote raids. Again, I'm probably throwing a super far long ball here that will never happen, but I hope a man can cross his fingers. A man can cross his fingers, right? Okay, well, I think that's, is this even focusing on me? It is, eh? I think that's about it for today. Overall, pretty exciting news day in Pokemon Go. Let me see, is there anything else that Niantic has announced? It's funny because I'm scrolling through Pokemon Go Live. By the way, if you don't know this site, it's PokemonGoLive.com. This is where Niantic drops all the events on news. What is this, Pokemon Go Raid Battles update? Pokemon Go Raid Gym Battle Experience are being improved globally. These updates intend to improve stability, reduce latency. Wasn't this an old thing? I did hear people saying that the raids got changed again. I don't know if that's exactly true. Mankey Calm Day, Mankey Calm Day is pretty cool, especially because we just got Shadow Mankey, so you can get Shadow Annihilate. Pretty cool. We got a Festival of Lights event in India, so that's India only. Won't be in India for that, unfortunately. And Yamask and Galarian Mask Research Day. Pretty cool as well. Cubone, Zigzagoon, Galarian Zigzagoon, Duskull. What was that? Why is Shieldon part of this event? That's kind of weird. That's pretty hype, though. Galarian Yamask and Yamask, fun Pokemon, especially those shinies of those Pokemon. They've been pretty rare in the past, but now I guess they're going to be pretty available for people. I don't know if I'll be in town, though, for this event. This is the 19th? Oh, this is this weekend. I'm going to be in Toronto running the marathon, so I don't know if I'll be able to play that event, unfortunately. But anyway, super exciting stuff overall with all these events going down. Final thing I guess I want to leave you guys with is, what do I want to leave you with? A little word wise of wisdom. Now, this is what I'll say. The last 2 weeks, I've been traveling with my buddies in New Zealand, as you guys already know. And something I guess I learned from traveling with buddies, traveling with other people, is just how important alone time and taking care of yourself is. And I think this is something that you really only realize when you go a long period of time without being alone. I've always been a person, growing up, if you don't know, I have 3 siblings. We have Pokemama, then I have Pokesis, which you guys know. There's another Pokesis I don't think you've ever met, and I have a brother, Pokebro, I guess we could call him. Grew up with a family where there's a lot of people always there with me, around me. I'm very used to people being around me, always someone to talk to. So being alone is a little bit uncomfortable for me, and I think it could be uncomfortable for other people. Just being content with being alone and going weeks on end where you don't, I'm not saying don't talk to anyone on purpose, but let's say you have to go travel somewhere or you move to a new city when you're really alone. That could be a really tough time for a lot of people. When there's no one to talk to, you can obviously go online, but being online is never the same as having a true presence. But I think it's very important, I guess, to become comfortable with being alone and become comfortable with your routine and being alone and how you can be okay with that. And I think these last 2 weeks, I've really learned that you do need your alone time, because I think I've always been a person that says, the joy in life. I always say this one thing I say is the best thing humans can do is show love to other people, whether that be platonic or, romantic, because it's such a unique ability I guess humans have. I read it in a book sometime. I read it in a book. No. I read something different in a book about what humans, this is completely off topic now, but the thing that makes humans unique is that we have imagination. We're the only species that can imagine things for the future, I guess you could say. A cow can't sit there and think in their brain oh, if I put this fence, or if I hit this fence, it'll knock over and I can get out, and then I can start a life with my cow family in the field. A cow will never think that, but us humans, we think, oh, that tree, let me cut that down, let me turn that into this, and then let me, and we're always advancing. So humans, the unique thing about humans is that we have imagination, pretty much. But one of the other best things human can do is that we can love. I'm sure there's animals that can show love to other animals, obviously relationships and stuff, but loving people platonically or romantically is one of the best things we can do. How does this have anything to do with what I'm talking about? What? Okay, hold up. That was just the most side note ever, because I'm talking about being alone. Anyway, being comfortable with being by yourself and not having people near you, I guess, to love is very, very important, especially these last 2 weeks where, I love my friends and I was with them for a long time, but 6 boys traveling in an 8-seater van across New Zealand and being with each other every single waking minute of the day. It's very important to have your alone time and be comfortable with having your alone time, because I did not get enough alone time, in my opinion, during that event. And sometimes, I felt myself getting frustrated, but it's all right. We handled it well. And, we took our deep breaths. We did our routinely stuff, our journaling stuff that I do on the daily to try to feel better about myself, because I'm training my mind. Remember, taking care of your mental health is very, very important, because instead of just training your muscles, it's about training your mind. And that's what I've been kind of doing, and something I've been trying to advocate and talk about here in these YAP sessions with you guys. And some people have said they've related. So overall, I just think always remember to try to stick to your routine and the things that you can do every single day to make yourself feel better and your mental health better, whether that be exercising, journaling, meditating, even going on a walk, even playing Pokemon Go can be a meditative daily routine that really helps you ground yourself and get yourself set. Because I did find that some days, I guess like what I'm saying is that these last 2 weeks I learned a lesson, which is always do your routine and try to stick to your routine and do the things that make you feel better. Because you might think it's not important. This is what I think. I thought that to myself, 2 weeks not journaling every day or not doing exercise every day to help my mental health, it's not a big deal. Dex, you can handle it. Trust me, a week and a half after that, my mind was so foggy and so interrupted, I guess, and so unclear. So it's nice, to be back here in Ottawa and be able to reset that, get back into my routine of things, do my daily things I need to do to feel better, to have a good mental health, and don't sleep on it. Don't sleep on it. Just because you think it's not important in the moment because you feel fine. I guess it's like this. After I run, I feel fine. So I'm like, oh, damn, I feel fine right now. You end up taking it for granted, I guess, that you're like, okay, well, I felt fine that day. Maybe it wasn't because of the running. Maybe I don't have to run today. I don't know. Anyway, I'm rambling on about random stuff right now. Hopefully this video was informational to you guys, and hope you guys are excited for Dynamax. Let me know in the comments what you think about Dynamax. As always on the YAP sessions, I answer last episode's question in the next episode, or I read your answers. So if you have any thoughts on Gigantimax, let me know. We are going to be doing these every single week. People were like, where are the YAP sessions? This is season 3, baby, so we're back. Weekly YAP sessions, hopefully weekly YAP sessions. We might take some weeks off, we'll see, but season 3, until it gets too cold for me to sit on this bench. We'll come back to this bench. Will I come back? I don't know, but I'm going to try to come back to this bench on the last episode of season 3, and we're going to see how cold it is. Because right now it's cold, but it's not that cold, so we're going to be able to get in a couple episodes. Anyway, comment below what your thoughts on Dynamax, Gigantamax are, all that stuff. And yeah, I guess we'll catch you guys all next week in the next YAP session. Thanks for watching, and follow for more tips. Peace.